Alrighty, welcome back into this new More Weather Forecast video. My name is Beck Moore and I'm back here in the weather studio. We haven't done a video here in a while, but the weather is really ramping up with multiple storm systems on the way, and one we're going to be having to deal with early this week into the next couple of days, bringing us severe weather, and we're going to continue to see that above average warmth across the central and eastern United States. All the details are located in this video. So first things first, let's get into that severe weather threat we're expecting for Tuesday, and that is a slight risk, 2 out of 5 risk, so not a huge risk, but still something to watch for parts of the Midwestern United States. Now, cities that this includes: St. Louis, Missouri, Chicago, Illinois, so two big cities, as well as Indianapolis, Indiana, South Bend, Indiana, and Champaign, Illinois. So some pretty big cities and some pretty populated areas inside of this risk. So that's why we need to take this seriously. If you have any outdoor plans, if you're in St. Louis or Chicago or anywhere in this risk on Tuesday, make sure you stay tuned to the radar weather and have those ways to get warnings. Now, our severe potential for Tuesday, this is not a very high threat, as you can see right here. Tornado threat is low. Are we going to rule out a couple tornadoes? Absolutely not. Still need to have a way to get tornado warnings. Any threat is a threat that you need to take seriously, and that one is a low one. Damaging wind threat with a lot of severe storm setups. We have the pretty high, maybe moderate to high threat. For this one, it's low for right now. Could that change to moderate? That's very possible, but with this setup, it's not very high. Our biggest threat, granted, it's only a moderate threat, still something to watch out for, but that just shows this is not a very significant event, is that hail threat. So we're going to have to watch for hail in these storms, especially in the northern Illinois, where we could have those discrete storms Tuesday afternoon and evening. We're going to have to watch for that big-time hail threat. And then flooding is a low threat. Now, our shear instability, lift, and cap or convective inhibition levels. Let's look at all of that. Let's look at the setup and the risk here again for the dials here. And that shear's at a 6, so definitely sufficient for a couple tornadoes. That's possible. But overall, it's not the greatest setup for tornadoes, so tornado threat is at a 4. Again, still need to be prepared for that tornado warning, for if that warning goes over your location. Instability, that's at a 5. It's, not very high, but it is sufficient for storms. That's the most important thing. It's sufficient for storms. Hail threat, that's our highest threat. Again, like I just said, at a 7, and it is our highest threat, so you're going to have to watch out for that. And then lift, that's at a 7. We do have a lot of lift, which means these storms are really going to be able to create some pretty big updrafts. But that wind threat, again, is not very high, but it's still something to watch out for at a 5. And then that cap, this is something we want to see if we're forecasting the severe weather. This inhibits or hampers storm initiation or storms starting off. So this will inhibit those storms from forming. If we have that cap around, which it's at an 8, we're not going to see a lot of storms. Now, especially into northern Illinois, it looks like that cap's going to erode as we go into Tuesday afternoon, and that's why I think that's the area where we're going to have to really watch for those storms. But say down towards St. Louis, this capping or convective inhibition could lead you to not have many storms on Tuesday. So we're going to have to watch that for a lot of areas. And that's a very good sign that we have that at an 8, because that means we're probably not going to be dealing with at all, of course, a severe weather outbreak, but also not a large area that we're going to have to watch out for storms. Mainly into northern Illinois, I think, is the main area we're going to have to watch on Tuesday. Central Illinois as well, but especially in Missouri, I think that cap and in Indiana is going to really inhibit you or hamper you from seeing those storms. And then lastly, that flooding risk is at a 2, so not very high. Now lastly, now that we're done with the severe weather threat, let's look at the above average map or below average map, 6 to 10 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. And you can just see the central United States and eastern United States and that Great Lakes region really going to be having above average temperatures here in the next couple of days, especially on Tuesday through Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, up towards Wisconsin and Michigan. We're really going to be having those higher temperatures. That cold front's going to come through the Midwest on Tuesday, but then we'll be right back up by this weekend, by next weekend, and we're going to be really watching for those temperatures to really ramp back up. So eastern United States as well as central United States, we're going to be dealing with that warmth for probably the foreseeable future. Winter it's not over, but it's kind of over for that threat for snow, especially in the parts of the central United States. But into the western United States, we're holding on to those colder temperatures. That about wraps up this More Weather Forecast video. Make sure you subscribe and go follow me on X. Please, please, please be prepared for those storms Tuesday into parts of Illinois, parts of Missouri, Indiana, and Michigan. So be prepared for that. Have a way to get warnings. I unfortunately won't be able to have another update, so stay tuned on my X account, More Weather on X. As always, stay prepared out there, and I will see you soon with more weather.